Our next speaker will be the Honorable Minister for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed. She was appointed by President Buhari and brought the two ministries under her as one. Mrs. Ahmed previously served as Executive Secretary and National Coordinator of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. An accountant by training, she has extensive experience in the public sector reform and management. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for coming in from the platform. I understand.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. And I'd like to say happy 60th anniversary to all Nigerians. I'm privileged to be at the Eagle Square to watch the beautiful parade celebrating our 60th independence. Happy independence anniversary, everyone.
All right. Our first question will be this. Given the fact that revenues and not GDP is used to pay debts, Nigerians are concerned about the debt profile of the federal government. Very high ways and means of financing by the CBN to government the debt service cost. Now, you may have a different feeling and opinion or thoughts concerning this statement. Or how concerned are you about the finances of the country, and what are the key adjustments that we need to make as a country if oil prices stay at $40 to $45 for the next few years?
Well, thank you very much. Permit me to step back a bit and just say that when I started working as the Minister of Finance, I very quickly realized that the biggest challenge that we have in the fiscal space is our very low revenue base. So we set up a program that we rolled out that we titled the Strategic Revenue Growth Initiative. So that initiative was designed to grow our revenue, the existing revenue streams, also find new revenue sources and bring them into form. We also set out under this initiative to increase revenue, block leakages, and expand the tax base, and also started working on reforming our tax system. This reform process now culminated into the Finance Act 2019, which was brought into law in January 2020. This specific act was used to amend 7 different fiscal laws that we have that had gaps in them that were allowing for leakages. But not only that, we also used the opportunity of the finance bill to reduce taxes for some segments of businesses in Nigeria. For example, we have a provision now for zero company income tax for small businesses that have turnover of less than 25%. And then we reduce taxes for medium-sized businesses that have turnover of up to 100 million. Permit me, my sister Umar, we call 100 million price here. But we thought it was important to reduce taxes so that these companies retain income in their businesses, grow the businesses, and employ jobs. And this is something we did before the outbreak of the COVID-19. So it turned out for us to be fortuitous, because that is what countries had to do when we had the crisis. We also used the opportunity to increase VAT from 5% to 7.5%. Before the COVID-19 crisis, we have been growing steadily. Slow growth, but we have been growing, and the trajectory was all positive. Now we are witnessing slowdown in growth. What we're doing currently is we've taken a number of measures, which include reviewing our plans, revising our budget, and scaling everything down, moving spending from non-essential expenditure to essential expenditure, especially to enable us cope better with the health crisis that is in our country. But going forward, what we are doing is adopting a counter-cyclical measure. We have had to borrow to stimulate the economy to make sure that there are enough resources for government to be able to continue to run the business. We borrow at low interest rate, responsible borrowing to make sure that government stays afloat. And also, as our economy recovers, our projection is early to mid 2021 that the growth will rebound. We're targeting that we need to grow our GDP to 7% over 4 to 5 years. We're also working to grow our tax base from the current, so at the end of 2019, our tax to GDP ratio was 8%. Now it has slowed down as low as 6% from our assessment, but our trajectory has been, our plan has been to grow a tax to GDP ratio to 15%. And this we must do over the next 4 to 5 years. So it's not a question of whether we can do it, because it means actually tripling our revenues, but how do we do it? That's what we're working with now at the federal level and along with the states. And also, we are also working to make sure that our economy is truly diversified away from government over-dependence in revenue. Don't get me wrong, we have a diversified economy as it is. Oil contributes 9% of our GDP, so the rest is non-oil. But government still has this dependence on oil revenues, and that is something that we are working to change. So to come back to respond to your question, we are doing everything that we can to make sure that our country is self-sufficient, especially in the area of food security. And I must say that we have achieved some progress in that regard, because if we didn't have self-sufficiency in food security, when there was the lockdown and there was no movement of goods in and out of the country, we'll have had very, very significant problems. Because we were able to grow what to eat, the situation was not as bad as it would have been.
All right.
Am I still being heard? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. The second question is, the COVID-19 pandemic has shown the efficiency and cost savings that organizations can derive from working remotely. So the question is, what expenditure savings, e.g. travel costs, ESTA codes, should Nigerians expect to see in the 2021 budget, with government agencies leveraging on digital collaboration and messaging forum platforms? We will see that.
The COVID-19 is an unfortunate reality to the whole world, not just to Nigeria. But it also presented to us some opportunities, which we very quickly took advantage of. One of those opportunities was the removal of the fuel price, and which was quickly now followed by the relaxation of the control of electricity tariff. What we are doing is to ensure that the reforms that we have had to put in place because of COVID-19 are sustained. We have seen practically that you can do a lot virtually, that you can do a lot without having to travel from town A to town B. We saw a lot of savings during this lockdown period. And we also noted that despite the fact that the workforce larger workforce was asked to stay at home, that the work of government did not stop, that everything was still working on very well. So about 60% of the government workforce are below a certain level that were asked to stay at home, but nothing actually suffered. The work still went on. So it also shows us that we can be sufficient with working virtually, and also that we can even get more done. We have had to do a lot of spending in providing connectivity and also in investing in ICT platforms, not only for meetings but also for day-to-day operations. In my ministry, for example, I'll just give you an example. We have a process where we give tax waivers or import duty waivers. And this is a process that would see a company applying, sending a lot of bulky documents. Turnover time was like 3 months. But with this automation that we have just put in place that is called the IDEF platform, you can actually get this done in 2 to 3 days. So it saves us a lot of resources, and also it's also good for the businesses because they can now move forward very quickly.
All right. Next question is, we have been hearing of diversification of the economy since the return to democratic rule in 1999. What specific milestones in numerical terms has this government achieved since 2015, and what are the annual sectorial targets you want to be measured on from 2020 to 2022?
Okay, we put together the Nigeria Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, the ERGP, in 2016. In the ERGP, we had 5 key execution priorities. The first one was agriculture and food security. And in that thematic, in that key priority, we had set to ourselves that we will be self-sufficient in rice production by the year 2018, in maize production by the year 2019, and in wheat production by the year 2020. So we have been able to achieve the first 2. We're still lagging behind in terms of wheat production. Going forward, we have to become self-sufficient in wheat production. We have also set target to attain 25 megawatts of electricity in the country over the next 3 years. To increase the power availability within the country. We've set targets to roll out a number of key rail infrastructure that are crisscrossing the country. So these are projects that have already started. We have the Lagos-Ibadan completed. We also are extending from Ibadan to Kano. There is another rail that will start from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. There is also one that was just approved that is across the northeast to the northwestern part of the country, and a 4th one connecting the southern regions. It is important for us to have these major rail plans. They will now have spurs to major cities of the country. The importance of the rail is to facilitate the movement of maybe food produce from farms to market, but also movement of goods all across the country. It will reduce the cost of doing business in Nigeria, it will ease the cost of transportation for citizens, and it will enhance businesses. We're also investing largely in rail infrastructure and enabling businesses to come in to invest alongside government in rail infrastructure. We passed an executive court order that is called Executive Order number 007 that allows a company to invest in building a road that is agreed with the government, and then using their funds and then recover their investment over a period of time from tax credit. That is a unique program that is ongoing. So the Apapa Road is built by Dangote under the tax credit scheme. The Bonibodo Road around the south is also being built. We have 19 roads, and we have another 25 that will be coming under this scheme. The states have found it useful, and investors also that have benefits for building the roads, but also want to invest in the roads are signing up to the scheme.
All right. Final question I want to ask you. You're Minister of Finance, you're Minister of Budget and Planning. Technically, or not even technically, you are the Minister of the Economy. Now, so what I want to ask is this. What are the 3 things that keep you awake at night right now?
3 things. Number 1 is revenue. Again, I would say number 2 is revenue, and number 3 is revenue. But alongside those 3, leakages that we have been trying to plug, and also enhancing the cohesion of our people, especially within the revenue ecosystem. we found that people were working in silos, that we had invested in IT systems that are still sitting in silos, and it became difficult trying to collaborate and bringing it all together. We now have a process where on a monthly basis, we sit down and reconcile our revenues and tally up the numbers. And we're now working on interfacing all the IT systems so that we can see revenue performance on real-time or near real-time basis. And also we're building the skills of our people so that they are able to work more closely together. Because in working together, we actually are able to do more, rather than in having agencies sitting on their own and only coming once a month to report to back, like my sister said.
Thank you, ma'am, for coming on the platform. I will wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor, for inviting me. I appreciate it.